So I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight as we rally together and raise good trouble together. My name is Janet Nunez, and I'm the Ulster County Site Program Manager of the Trudy Resnick Farber Center for Human Development here in Ellenville, as well as a fellow community member, and in my free time, I continue to volunteer at Family of Ellenville and Family of Woodstock. I'm happy and honored to be your MC here tonight, here at the John Lewis Good Trouble Lives On. Good Trouble, it's such a powerful theme. It's John Lewis's legacy, what he encourages us to make and urges us to be. To stand up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable or disruptive. Lewis once said, "Get in good trouble, necessary trouble. Help redeem the soul of America." But what does that mean? Well, it starts with saying something. If you see something that is not right, unfair, or unjust, say something, do something. Lewis did that through his activism, work in Congress, and in his whole being. It was that spirit, determination, and courage that kept him and the remaining demonstrators to continue marching on that bloody Sunday. He showed us the true meaning of peaceful protest and its power. Lewis continuously advocated and sponsored legislation for equal opportunity for healthcare, education, and an economy in Congress. This sounds very much like the rights, freedoms, and opportunities that are currently threatened by the cuts and changes in policies and budgets. We can say that John Lewis was the moral compass for this country. Yes. And it sounds like we all need to channel the John Lewis in us. You know, there's someone else here who has been known to and continues to make good trouble. So everyone, please welcome longtime civil rights activist, Ellenville Citizen of the Year, and president of the NAACP Ellenville, Maud Bruce.
It's an honor to stand before the peoples that's fighting for democracy. That's our purpose here. We gotta stay in the fight. We gotta stay in the fight. And I've been in this fight since 1961. And I've been in Georgia when I marched with one of Dr. Martin Luther King and John Lewis. And we were fighting for our voting rights. We was fighting to equal opportunity. We was fighting to enter into the restaurant in the front door. We had to go around to the back or to the side door. That's what the purpose. We was making good trouble then. And we're still making good trouble. We will continue to make good trouble. You know, and I have a book here from that John Lewis wrote. And it's Walking with the Wind. And let me tell you about Walking with the Wind. Walking with the Wind is the little houses, they look like little huts. And when the wind comes, it blows so hard. So you run to the right to hold it down. Then you run back to the left to hold it down. This is what Walking with the Wind means. But it's all about civil rights. His fight in the civil rights and what he went through when he was getting into good trouble. And we must keep that alive. We must keep that alive. And in 2016, I had another honor to meet Congressman John Lewis at the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner at the Pearl River Hotel. What a joy that was, because he was a fighter. He was born a fighter, and he died a fighter. You know, I can remember where I was at when they announced that John Lewis had passed away. I was in Valdosta, Georgia, when it came across the news that he had passed away. That that was a sad day for me, because I know we had lost a voice in Washington. And Congressman, we had lost a voice because John Lewis was our voice. When he spoke for all of us. All of us that's here today, he spoke for all of us. So I say John Lewis was our congressman, although he represents the 5th district in Georgia for 33 years. But he represents all of us. Once he went to congressman in 1987, he represents all of us. So we want to say, we're going to keep good trouble alive. We're going to keep good trouble alive. And the vote is precious. And how we going to fight this democracy to keep our democracy, we must get our young peoples out. We got to get our young peoples out. Not just register them that they are registered voter, but we have to make sure that we get them out to vote, because they are our generation for now, today, and tomorrow. And they have to be prepared. They have to get in this fight. We have to bring them in this fight. I've been fighting in this fight since I was 16 years old. I've been in this fight, and I'm still in this fight. And I want to leave with you a quote that John Lewis, the vote is precious. It is almost sacred. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in a democracy. That was by Congressman John Lewis. And we must keep the good trouble alive. Keep it alive.
We should be asking ourselves, how can we support our youth? What might we ask ourselves of what we can do? Well, you're in the right place, because Athena Lassan, president of NAACP Youth Council, knows a thing or two about that. So please welcome her to the stage.
I speak on behalf of the legacy of Congressman John Lewis, who believed that all students should have access to a good, affordable, and equitable education. Our NAACP Youth Council will share with you what we require and expect so that we can all be involved in good trouble, necessary trouble, today and in the future. Please take us seriously in our communities here in Ellenville and in our own communities. We, the youth, desire to be the future for financial literacy, diversity and inclusion, human rights, civil rights, child literacy, and youth empowerment. So, if all the adults in the room and nationally who are parents, ministers, civil and social activists, educators, law enforcement, politicians, those who are game changers and trailblazers, if we are all willing, pay it forward, passing the torch, and to teach us, we want to learn. We are truly willing to learn. Thank you from the youth.
Good evening, everyone. I know that Pastor Denise was introduced, but I also pastor along with her. I am Pastor Raymond Younger. We pastor New Testament Church of Jesus Christ together. And it's an honor and a privilege for us to be here today celebrating and remembering John Lewis. And I'm so thankful for our youth of the ministry who's here also to be able to learn and to continue to know about the history and the fight that continues for us. So I just want to quote this from John Lewis. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the strength, it is the struggle of a lifetime. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. All right?
Faithful, faithful, faithful is our God. Faithful, faithful, faithful is our God. Faithful, faithful, faithful is our God. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me, and I rejoice today. I shall recover it all, and I rejoice today. I shall recover it all. Holy, holy, holy is our God. 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 I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me, and I rejoice today. I shall recover it all, and I rejoice today. I shall recover it all. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus is our God. 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 I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me, and I rejoice today. I shall recover it all, and I rejoice today. I shall recover it all. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me, and I rejoice today. And I rejoice today. And I rejoice today. I shall recover it all.
For those of you who might not know the story of what's happening in our office right now, back in March, the state of Texas tried to file a judgment against a doctor in New Paltz for allegedly prescribing abortion medication to a resident in Texas. And we rejected that originally because first, it's wrong, but second, we have a shield law in New York, so I know I'm getting a lot of the credit for this, but really the credit should go to our Democratic lawmakers at the state level who have the foresight to pass the shield law and allow us to do this. And for our other elected representatives, like, Attorney General Tish James, who before we rejected it, we didn't want to put the state in a bad spot, so we contacted her and we said, hey, we just got this, we're going to reject it. And she said, we're ready. We're ready, go ahead. And it makes my job really easy. And so we were waiting for Texas's response, and last week they sent a demand. They sent a letter demanding that we file it. And now my father was the lead singer of a punk band, and the Brucks do not do well with demands. So we told them that we're not sure how things work in Texas, but in New York, no means no. We're not filing it, period. They can figure it out. I'm not doing it. And so we're waiting to hear what they're going to do, but I want to put on another hat really quick before I go, because apart from Ulster County Clerk, I'm also the City of Kingston historian, and it's a fairly depressing time to be a historian. A lot of what we see happening right now, we've seen happen before in our country, but mostly in fascist countries. And next year, 2026, is the 250th anniversary of this country. It's also midterm elections, but to me, there's no better way to celebrate this country than by exercising our First Amendment right to free speech and speaking out and being loud about what we believe and what we want and what we don't want. And so I'm really excited about the 250th, and I hope you're all excited too, and that we can all push back against an administration demanding obedience and control, the antithesis of American ideals. So we're going to keep fighting in the clerk's office, and I mean, we got a packed room full of people, so I think that society is on our side, so keep up the good work, and we're behind you all the way.
It's okay, no, thank you, I appreciate it. He'll be going to Howard, he's leaving me in 2 weeks. And it's hard, so don't ask how you're doing, because I am doing great. I did my job, right? That's the focus. Marcus is not here because he's currently at Stewart's. He's working, his shift got changed, and read a little bit of a version of what he put in a lot of his scholarship applications describing himself, so you guys can get to know him a little bit. So Marcus said, being part of my brother's keeper, which is the MBK Fellows, has allowed me to learn life lessons that go beyond personal development and have a positive influence on my community as well. For me personally, my brother's keeper isn't just a leadership program. It's a life of dedication to creating communities and opening doors to success. This journey has equipped me with skills such as knowing how to build social connections and leadership qualities. In my position as an ambassador of MBK, I have been given the task that calls for leadership in my community and a commitment to my studies. My intention is drawn from my personal experience to make a positive impact in both academic setting and local community by inspiring others with a similar motivation at my dedicated university. So, I can't take all the credit. Daddy has a lot to do with it too. All right, so from a mother's perspective, so when this topic came up, I had to look at it from a mom looking out to, I'm sending my child out to the world, right? So from a mother's perspective, the legacy of John Lewis is differently, especially when you are raising a young black man and a Puerto Rican in today's world. I think about his message when he says, get in good trouble, necessary trouble. That's not just about protest. That's about teaching our children to speak truth, challenge justice, and love their community deeply. My son Marcus is growing up in a town where book bans are happening, voting rights are still on the attack, and youth voices are often overlooked. As a mother and as a community advocate, I just want him to be safe. I want him to be seen, heard, and empowered, and that's all we ask for our young people, right? Yes. That means creating a space where young people can lead, mentor, and be involved in shaping the world. That's why, putting everything aside, I am campaigning, but I stand up to focus on youth opportunity, education, safe spaces, and civic engagement. And I do have the privilege to be the recreation director, that I'm able to do that in the space of work. But outside of work, there's so much more work that we can do as a community. Whether it's supporting summer programs or making kids have access to arts, working to build the kind of community that John Lewis fought for, one where children are not just protected but prepared to lead. As a mother, I want Marcus to know that he stands on the shoulders of people just like John Lewis, and that he carries the same power to move things forward, and that we are fighting to make sure that every child in this community grows to have the tools, support, and we just hope that, you know, they walk that right path. But all in between, we need to support our youth.
Hello, my fellow troublemakers. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here to commemorate the passing of, the 5th year passing of John Lewis. I'm not going to get into the good trouble and necessary trouble because everybody has said that. I just have a couple of ideas I want to share, but I do want to say something about that. John Lewis coined that phrase, good trouble necessary, meaning you disrupt injustice, right? You say something, you do something. When you see something that's not right, or it's unfair, or it's unjust. And we're here at this event. I just want to urge you all to just take time when you get a moment to reflect. This is an event, we're having a good time, we're hearing speakers, we're listening to music. But I'll ask you to go deeper, right? I don't want this just to be an event. This is a movement that needs to continue today, tomorrow, the next day. So please hold that. And I'd also like to say, I honor his sacrifice. He gave a life of service. He was a significant part of the civil rights movement. As a result, we got our right to vote, and he spent the rest of his life trying to preserve that right and to give us more. We see now our rights are being rolled back. I take it personal what's happening today. I always say I served the country that didn't serve me. I'm a 10-year Army veteran, and so when I look at our current administration and I see what's happening, I'm a little pissed off about it, a little distressed, but I don't despair. I have hope because I know that we as the people, we have the power. And so I'm urging everybody today, we have one man that's making these rules and using all these tactics. The objective is the same. It's always been the same. It's just a different tactic. I don't want us to be distracted. I need us to be focused. Like Maud said, our most powerful tool is the vote. And that's what we have to maximize. And so I'm going to encourage you all to act with a fierce urgency of now. As you can see, this Trump administration, they're just running roughshod, right? They're just doing things, they're giving us propaganda, the rhetoric, it's like they're attacking us physically, psychologically, trying to break us, but we will not be broken, okay? You know, Martin Luther King made the phrase, the fierce urgency of now. He popularized that. And what he meant by that is we can no longer say, well, I'll wait till next week, or we'll do it at next week's meeting, or next month. No, we can't do that. There has to be a sense of urgency now, today, right now, right now. So when you leave here, I'm hoping tomorrow you're going to send an email to somebody. You're going to send a text, or a DM, or a phone call, because what we need to do collectively, we can win, we can preserve our rights, we can make progress, but it takes all of us, and all this division. Listen, we're all the same. We're different. This whole thing about dismantling DE&I, that's fine. What you're saying, you want to discriminate. That's what you're doing. But in this room, it is our DE&I, our diverseness, our equity, and our inclusiveness. It's our collectiveness. This is what's going to allow us to win this fight. So in closing, I'll just say again, please reflect on this moment. Dig deep down inside and understand what it means to get in good trouble and necessary trouble. It's not easy, it's scary. I'm in good trouble right now, challenging authorities. You have the right to do this. I'm in this office, my legislature, everywhere. They're looking at me like, how dare you? Who do you think you are to challenge me, right? I'm a United States citizen. of America that has rights under the Constitution that has been ratified, and I have the right of free expression of speech. So it's going to take dedication, it's going to take courage, it's going to take commitment, and it's going to take all of us. So let's join hands in our common humanity, and let's take back what's trying to be taken from us, and let's do it with a sense of urgency, and let's do it with fierceness, because this is a fierce urgency of now, right now. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I wish I could be here today, standing beside my mom and sharing this moment in person. But as some of you may know, I will be attending Howard University this fall to study sport medicine. While that sounds exciting, and it is, I know some of you might be wondering, what does that do for anyone else? How does that help me? Why Howard? Why go 5 hours away from the home and community that shaped me into the young man I am? Those are real questions, and I have asked myself those. Through this, I'm not just going to college. I'm stepping into a new chapter of what Congressman John Lewis called good trouble. Not the kind that causes chaos, but the kind that challenges limits, speaks up, and that builds something better. Since I was little, I have been drawn to technology. Computers intrigued me. I saw possibilities in every line code, every system that could be protected. That's why I pursued computer science and cybersecurity. But I'm also exploring exercise science because healing, strength, and resilience have become personal to me. When I fractured my femur playing basketball, everything changed. Physical therapy became my new grind. I had to learn how to walk again, literally and mentally. That pain taught me endurance. It taught me that setbacks don't just set you back, they build us. And that's what good trouble looks like in my life. It's pushing through when things get hard. It's chasing leads even when I'm still learning. It's being part of the MBK and helping build my community It's being part of my brother's keeper and helping build a community that doesn't just talk about equality, but lives it. I have worked with mentors, board members, and peers to create action plans for young men of color. I have seen what happens when every voice is heard. That's the kind of trouble I want to keep causing. So no, I'm not leaving Ellenville. I'm carrying it with me. Every lesson, every late night, every person who believed in me. I'm going to Howard not to escape, but to expand. I take what this community gave me and pour it into a new space. To be the kind of leader who doesn't just succeed, but lead others while doing it. John Lewis said, "Never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. I'm not afraid, I'm ready." Thank you for being part of my journey. And thank you, Mom, for showing me what good trouble looks like every single day.
So I was born abroad in Dominican Republic to American citizens in 1984. Not to share how old I am. But one of the things that make me proud to be an American and to live here is the diversity. America is truly where the world meets. I am so grateful for our immigrant neighbors because they have enriched all of our lives one way or another. Here to talk about how we can protect our immigrant neighbors is Reverend Elizabeth Estes, Senior Minister at Dutch Reformed Church in Kingston and clergy spokesperson for the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. Welcome, Reverend.
I have some very hard questions posed by an 8-year-old girl for everyone here. Get ready. Where do kids go when they take your parents? Where do the immigrants go? Do they pay for the plane, or do you? What do they do with your house, your car, your job, your pets, your stuff? What do they do about school for kids? Every week, a volunteer mentor reads aloud with this 8-year-old girl. And this mentor wrote down these questions and asked me to answer them. And I can't bear to, so I'm so happy I'm here to ask all of us to answer these questions. I stand before you as the clergy spokesperson for Ulster Immigrant Defense Network, 300 volunteers who dedicate body and soul to get in the way when our government inflicts terror on more than 900 immigrant families here now in Ulster County, and that's low, right? 900 families is low. Our volunteers are immigrants. They're the children and grandchildren of immigrants, because only someone who themselves has been marginalized or silenced or terrorized knows how truly unfair empire's rules and expectations and boundaries and punishments truly are. That's a quote from Franciscan friar Richard Rohr. He speaks the truth. The parents of John Lewis tried to hand down their terror to their son. My parents told me in the very beginning, as a young child, when I raised the question about segregation and racial discrimination, John Lewis said, they told me this: not to get in the way, not to get in trouble, not to make any noise. But the success of John Lewis's work, as we know, was proportionate to the wounds on his own body. I never wanted to be a pastor or an immigration advocate, but everything changed for me in May of 2006. ICE was just like a baby ICE then. Still, federal agents stormed apartments near my church, where 70 undocumented families were living in peace. Terrified by riot gear and rifles and batons, it's just like it happened yesterday. In the pre-dawn confusion, 35 families opened their doors. Each time a parent was handcuffed in front of their children, detained and deported within 6 weeks. You can read my story on pastorliz.com. And I also wrote it in a book, so you can. Oh, right there. Thanks. It's called Global Grace Cafe, and you can find it on pastorliz.com. And maybe I'll leave some copies here if people are interested. I learned something that day. That time the U.S. Constitution prevailed. 35 doors did not open, and they protected people. And some of those people, 18 years, 19 years, 20 years later, now have green cards. I learned that the 4th and the 5th and the 14th Amendment only survive if we all get in the way. They don't work unless we get in the way. And I learned that they pertain to all people. They are guaranteed to all people in our U.S. Constitution, even though that's not what I was taught when I was in high school, a very, very, very ancient long time ago. Our kids are taught better now. The way we treat immigrants today is our own version of segregation and discrimination and ruthless, brutal punishment. All children around us are asking hard questions. I think they might be ashamed to ask some of them aloud, right? These are terrible questions. But everyone can do something to answer these questions. Everyone can take a small action. The first thing is that we don't look away. It's called witnessing. It's all through the Hebrew Bible. It's all through the Quran. It's all through the New Testament. We don't look away. We witness to what's happening. It sucks. We have to keep our eyes open. We can care for our immigrant neighbors every place we find them, in restaurants and bodegas and nursing aides and landscape crews. Take extra care of people. They're having a really terrible time. learn how to safely film and report an ICE encounter. In Kingston, we have rapid responders and also in New Paltz who are patrolling our streets. Let's get that going in Ellenville. There's a whole bunch of new attorneys who are really great attorneys and they never even thought about immigration law, and now that they see that all of our law depends on those 4th, 5th, and 14th amendments, and they're getting involved, and they are running weekly legal clinics, learning about immigration. If attorneys who spent all that money and didn't learn about it then, we can all learn about immigration law now, right? We have supermarkets and volunteers who every single Wednesday they feed people to extend their budgets. It's life-saving aid. It's going to be more and more important. We have drivers who provide rides. We have telephone agents who connect people to resources. We have mentors, like the one I mentioned, who listen as immigrant children read aloud because their parents don't know English and don't know if they're reading right or wrong. And once you get involved, you get hooked, right? I got hooked. My ethnic Chinese, Christian, Indonesian friends, 200 of them started calling me Pastor Liz, and I was like, I better go to seminary. Something I learned in 2006 is that after deportations, it's not over. That's when the humanitarian needs balloon. As people are taken out of this country, all the people who depended on them are going to need help from all of us. So this is not going away anytime soon. So my friend Anna Jacobs here in this lovely green hat, she has all kinds of information, and so do I. She's going to bring people any place where people want to learn how to know your rights, so that you can film and witness and do anything and have a discussion about this, see how you can make your place of business or whatever safer. And you can visit UlsterImmigrantDefenseNetwork.com. You got to spell the whole thing out. And you can join us. Thank you.
Minded my own business like a good neighbor, I trusted that justice be done. I didn't ask what was their crime, it was their sadness, wasn't mine. I didn't care where they were sent. By my silence I gave my consent. By my silence I gave my consent. I am not Jewish, but when they came for the Jews I had nothing to say. Branded with stars like cattle on boxcars and then taken away. I didn't care what was their crime, it was their sadness, wasn't mine. I didn't care where they were sent. By my silence I gave my consent. By my silence I gave my consent.
Good evening, Trailblazers. Thank you, everyone. Give yourself an applause for being here. I had a whole speech set up, but because I only have 3 minutes, I'm going to be nice and quick. I'm Cheryl Hassan. I'm the youth advisor for the Youth Council of Ellenville, NAACP Ellenville, and I'm also the first vice president of NAACP Ellenville. Nice. I was informed that I have 3 minutes, so I'm going to go fast. We make reference to good trouble, necessary trouble, and the impact of John R. Lewis. I can reflect on some of my own personal memories. In 2015, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and my son was inducted into Morehouse College, and at the induction ceremony, my father attended with me, who was a civil rights attorney in Georgia. When it was over, he wanted to introduce me to a couple of his colleagues, and I was somewhat informed of my history, but not enough. He introduced me to Congressman Lewis, and he introduced me to Andrew Young. And they told a quick story of how my father was young, fresh out of Duke University and out of law school, and he had came to Georgia with 30 other young men of color, and they tried to take the bar examination, and they were refused the bar and given all kinds of antics of why they could not take the bar. So they fought, and they were allowed to take the bar, and they all became attorneys in Georgia. There's a difference between a lawyer and an attorney. A lawyer gets a degree, an attorney takes the bar. So he said it was a large difference. What I really noticed more than anything else is the calmness of the two men. I heard about them in the history books, not a lot and not as much as I should have heard, but I paid attention to how they moved and the way they presented themselves. They just drifted into the crowd and were people. They heard everyone, they paid attention, and I was proud that my father was a part of these young men. As time went on, I left Georgia and came back to New York. My disappointment here in New York, where I'm born and raised, New York City, Harlem, is the camaraderie of poor people. They didn't have much in Georgia, but they knew what segregation really looked like. My grandparents came from North Carolina, and I remember in our home being raised by them. They came here during the Depression, and they never spoke about how hard it was in North Carolina. But my grandfather would say, timeless times, do not take me back to North Carolina until you take me back in a box. I'm a boy in North Carolina, I'm a man in New York. So he didn't go back until he passed away. And those things weren't that significant to me until we fast forward to 2025. And now I have a 17-year-old, a 27-year-old, one male, 27, then a 37-year-old and a 45-year-old, who all have come through the ranks of never having to go through segregation that they were able to identify with. But now my 17-year-old is leaving the nest and going into college. And my prayer for her is that she takes all the tools and the gifts of all of the great trailblazers, her position as president on the youth NAACP, and everything else she's going to learn along the way, and she takes it forward through the colleges. She stays humble, she stays involved, and she stays carrying our torch. So I implore everyone here, if my daughter has not said it, and the young people here have not said it enough to you, in your homes, in your jobs, everywhere you're going, we are not going to be able to transition and take any of this information we have with us. Pour it into your youth. We have to be able to trust that they will take the torch and they'll run with it. But if you don't teach it, they won't have it. If my grandparents had told me how they saw the white fountains, the white only fountains and the black only fountains, I would have had a better understanding of how I was to go forward. But I got it now at 63. And I'm going to keep teaching and preaching and going through the streets and everywhere I have to go to make sure that everyone gets it. I don't have a racial prejudice bone in my body, because I heard a man say yesterday something that I've always felt, but I was glad to hear it said out loud. And a Caucasian man, and he said, when I was growing up, I was taught that the only time you separate color is in the laundry. So I realized then that people are really people. You just gotta have the general conversations. It doesn't matter how many people in this room voted for Trump and how many voted for the current, did not vote for the president we should have gotten. It's okay, because at this point right now, we are all in the same melting pot. And we're all gonna have to fight together to get out of it. They are one administration, and we are in numbers. So we cannot get discouraged. We cannot act like when we see the news, we change the channel every time we don't hear something we want to hear. You know, the middle name of those people are distraction. Don't be distracted. Keep the channel on the news. Pay attention to what's going on. And each and every night when you say your prayers, pray that the next day you're more proactive, prayerful, productive, progressive, paying it forward. Thank you.
Wow. I'm so moved and filled by everything that everybody said and by all the people here. And I'm going to talk about our Indivisible group and also the NAACP. And I want to start by just giving you an image that every morning, I live in Woodstock, and my husband and I take a walk with our dog up our road, which is, you know, a pretty rural road. And there's all sorts of trees and vegetation everywhere. And I am always so drawn to all of the ground cover of plants. And there's like one species of ivy here, and then right over next to it there's a whole bunch of ferns, and then next to that there's all this other kind of vegetation, and they're like these little cities of people, of beings, and they're all populating and growing, and they're all together. And I know they fight a little bit, it's, you know, it happens, but they are all together, and they are an incredible community. And when I feel lonely, I look at them and I let them in, and I say, I'm not alone. And the human part of that for me has been that especially since Trump got first elected in 2012, I got involved with my local Democratic Party, and I also got involved with Indivisible Ulster. And I have found my plant people. And I hope that we can more and more and more, like the lady, I'm sorry I didn't get your name, who just spoke. We can all work together, our plant communities, and come together more and more and more. And like a really good immune system, we're just gonna absorb the virus of MAGA thought. There's no need for it. We are better than that, and we can own that every day and every moment. So if you want to get involved with Indivisible, which is a nationwide movement, and right now you can feel there's groups like this and smaller and larger ones all over this country. I'm sure John Lewis is floating around feeling pretty darn good today. Indivisible, we do all sorts of incredible actions together. We do legislative actions, we do rallies, we co-host with other groups. It's been just, I can't say it enough. It's been wonderful being a part of it, and we want more and more of you. Everybody's got an incredible brain, incredible creativity, incredible heart, no matter what you bring or give. And we have a call to action group that if you want to join it, where's Steve? Steve, there's Steve. I've been looking at you the whole time. Steve Bush is one of our older, longer-term members of Indivisible Ulster, and he has a sign-up list, and we have a call to action group, which is really simple. Every week you'll get in the email actions you can take with various Congress people and local officials, and you can really have an impact just making one phone call. It really matters, every little bit matters. And Steve's gonna talk to you about another action that's happening coming up this week. Remember, your bodies matter. You are those plant people, and your bodies matter everywhere, all the time. We can't give up until we absorb the virus. So thank you.
If you're motivated today, please consider joining Indivisible. We've got a flyer over here, join our movement. It's right on that table over there. And also, I want to invite all of you to a civil rights workshop that's happening this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. at the LGBTQ Center in Woodstock.
Kingston.
I'm sorry, Kingston. Yes, Kingston, sorry. So it's called Your Pain is My Pain, the Suppression of Fundamental Rights. And it's being given by Chris McDaniel-Miccio, who is a fabulous attorney who's been fighting for civil rights for years and years. She's an author, and she has worked on women's rights, LGBTQ rights, and all of our civil rights. And she's an expert in the 4th and 14th Amendments. So please, if you want to find out, this is a workshop. So we're going to learn about our rights, what we can do to protect them, and come to the workshop. I have a sign-up sheet. Well, not a sign-up sheet, but you can photograph the QR code.
I've been welcomed by this community, and it's my favorite, the NAACP. And everyone's talking about join this, join that, and it's good. Join Indivisible, yes. But please, there are memberships for NAACP. It is a great organization. They do great things all throughout Ulster County, especially in Ellenville. But, you know, when something happens in Kingston that is not fair and there might be discrimination, you know, they call NAACP.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, so NAACP is here for all of us, even though if it's in Ellenville, the applications are there, and please, please support it. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization. And last but not least, there's a jar there. If you have it, you feel like you have an extra $1 or two, throw it in the can for NAACP because it goes to good stuff. They're having a back to school a festival in a couple of weeks. I mean, they do really great things, so please support them.